Hi. Okay, so a very interesting and popular topic at the moment with companies of all shapes and sizes is about creating the right culture, a high performance culture, perhaps maybe what you want to call it, and bringing in kind of change programs to help that. But here's why, in my experience, 80 to 90% of those will actually fail. They just don't work. And 60% of my clients will be entrepreneurial companies or working with entrepreneurial leaders, and about 40% will be with corporate C-suite executives. And this applies to both scenarios. I mean, on the corporate side, they generally have more of an interest in doing it, perhaps. But the main reason that culture change doesn't work is because the approach to it is completely fundamentally wrong. It's generally seen as an outside-in approach. So you'll always have things like companies creating value statements and missions and all this kind of stuff, and then creating training programs around what they want to see. But they're missing a key point. And just to illustrate that point, I mean, I've been working in this area in many different contexts for about 20 years. But I remember when I worked in my corporate life back, I suppose, 1993 to 1999, I worked in two different organizations. But I always remember one of those organizations, there was a really good culture, a great leader in position, and then that leader changed and moved on, and a new leader came in. Same people, same culture, the leader changed at the very top. And literally within a month, the entire culture of the organization had changed in a, I would say, not a good way. So certain things had changed, and it became a very different environment just by changing that one thing. And I've always been fascinated by that because especially with, I used to get paid sometimes to go in and actually cause change in an organization. But I don't do it now unless I can do one thing, which is talk to the principal, the head of the team or the division, or talk to the actual CEO or the owner or the entrepreneur. Because the number one way you can actually embed the right culture is to be the actual role model for the behavior that you want to see. You'll save yourself a lot of money and time. But the challenge is that if you're the one watching this who's in charge of that culture, the blind spot that you might have is how you really are. And so for me, you have to understand how you are as a leader, how you are as a person, because a lot of the time it's unconscious. And also you're generally surrounded by an echo chamber insofar as that people just tell you back what you want to hear most of the time. And so it's important to have people around you, whether it's someone like me or somebody else, or even people that are in your team, who just tell it to you straight, especially if you don't like it. Because once you can actually see and improve your own behavior, that is the single most powerful and fastest way to change a culture. So forget about the value statements on the walls, forget about the mission statement. I mean, they're all useful in a certain context. They're more useful when you've got the right person. So if you're that kind of person who's open to that, well, maybe let's have a conversation. But even if we don't talk, have a think about yourself, because you're the one, if you're watching this as the leader, that can make significant change by changing your behavior. The question is, how do you find that out? Food for thought.